time. How's it going, all you amazing Mets fans and whoever you're a fan of? It's Wardy here, and we're back at it with our first official 2025 opening day Mets pregame show. Cannot wait to get into this one. So excited. We have waited long enough. A long off season, an exciting and thrilling off season, a tremendous spring training, and now hopefully what's going to be an amazing 162. How you doing, everybody? My name is Tyler Ward, but many of you guys know me here as Wardy typically, as you guys have also seen my work in the Bleacher Report app, as I'm a weekly host Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern for MLB-wide topics, including today as well, so be on the lookout for that, as well as now a host there on WardyNYM, a new MLB-wide channel that we started yesterday and dropped our first video. That's all linked down below in the description, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I'll have it linked after we're officially live here. Go look up WardyNYM. We already have over 300 subs, so thank you guys kindly for that. That way you guys can see my MLB-wide takes in various forms and different types of content than what you get here on just Mets-centric topics on the WardyNYM platform. Nothing's changing. We're just adding there to the list of more content Wardy's doing throughout the year, and I'm pumped up for it. The same way that I am beyond pumped up for Mets Open today. Juan Soto is going to hopefully, fingers crossed, hit a tank in the same place that he took Justin Verlander deep in 2019 and won the whole thing with that same Washington Nationals. Fast forward what has now been 6-7 years later, and Juan Soto is going to be a Met for hopefully the remainder of his career. I am pumped up. I'm ecstatic. Let's deep dive these lineups. Let's get into the pitching matchups, and let's see from you Mets fans just how excited you are for opening day. But let's get a quick roll call rolling in the chat, baby, and then let's do this thing. We got BC. How you doing? Ethan, Goomba, JR, Kevin, great member. Happy to have you in here, Kevin. I'm fantastic. Hope you are great. We got my guy. Let's see. I'm gonna just go with Y because I don't want to butcher your name, my man, but Y, and then your last name starts with an F. You know exactly who you are. Hell yeah, LGM, baby. Luis, J, Ethan, Eric, longtime follower and moderator. Happy to have you in here. Jack, White Mike, Abe, Chad O'Neill, Edwin, Jordan Simpson, my man with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. I hope we can rock that tonight, baby. I really do. Murdoch, David West, Wesley, James Carroll, great member. Emmanuel, how you doing? Reagan, we got our guy Nolan in here. Let's go, Mets, great member. We got Ethan, we got Murdoch, we got Justin, we got David, we got Mr. Chicken, we got Abe, we got Two Cats, we got Gab, we got Mr. Nobody, BR, Sadman, we got a dono from Jack already. Thank you kindly for that, Jack. Jack says, hey, Wardy, who do you think will have the Mets' first homer of the year? That's a great question. That's a great question. And obviously, I want to say Juan Soto. I don't care that it's a lefty-lefty matchup against Valdez. Of course I want to say Juan Soto. So I'm saying Juan Soto hits a home run within his first two at-bats today. And if he doesn't, that's fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But if we're going to have our fun predictions, I'm going to go with Soto as my number one pick. And for my number two pick, we are going to go with Starling Marte. That's my backup pick. That's my backup pick today, all right? So, number one's Juan Soto. Number two is Marte. Mind you, there's no guarantee that the Mets even hit a home run today, but I'm hoping for at least a solid matchup here from both sides. I think we all are, and I think that's fair. But you guys let me know in the chat right now, who do you think is going to homer first for the Mets this season? And is it going to be as soon as tonight? Is it going to be the first at-bat? Is it going to be Mr. Smile? How you doing, sayonara? It's out of here. And it's an early 1-0 lead. I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is that I'm ecstatic to be here talking about Mets baseball that's actually going to matter with each and every one of you. And when we talk about Mets baseball in particular, everybody, I have some amazing news I have to share as well, just for a quick second, and then we're going to break down everything about today's game. I promise. But this is important because it goes directly in hand with content that you guys can expect here in the platform. So let me hop over here. Let me do this. Let me do this. Alrighty, guys. So as you guys can see right here, you guys are wondering, what is this, Wardy? Let me put you on what this is. Guys, welcome to Playback. Everybody, I will have this available, linked down below in the description after this has been live. Playback is an app that you guys will find me as a weekly host in all season long, and we're going to be doing at minimum one Mets watch party, if not multiple, every single week throughout the year here in the Playback app. And the best part about this, folks, that don't understand what Playback is, it is the most revolutionary sports app possible for creators like myself. I'm fortunate enough to build a great relationship with them. Actually, was supposed to work with them a couple years ago when they were just in their beta form for MLB, but now they have official MLB licensing, which means you guys will be able to sign in with your actual MLB accounts for your MLB TV subscriptions into the Playback app. That way you can watch the Mets game live in sync with me in real time. We're all going to be in complete sync in the Playback app while the game is actively happening, and I'm going to share not only my play-by-play, but just my reactions as a fan. Sometimes I'm going to be a bit more laid back and actually like true to myself if I'm there watching a game. Others I might be a bit more animated, and the beauty of it all, folks, is that you don't need to just go in the Playback app in order to be a part of this. I'm also going to simulcast the majority of these shows on YouTube as well, and it's going to be perfectly automated, so just the scoreboard will show on YouTube. That way I don't have to worry about any copyright infringement or anything like that. It's the best of both worlds. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this, especially because I'm going to be able to actually physically watch the game in real time with you guys, and all you'll have to do is head over into the Playback app, join my room, which is playback.tv/WardyNYM. It's that easy, and then you guys will be able to watch the games with me live as long as you have an MLB subscription. We're also going to be doing giveaways as a further thank you for signing up and being a part of this, and again, this will be a consistent thing throughout the course of the season, hopefully. That way you guys get a good, healthy balance of not only post-game content, big Mets updates, but also other fun stuff like watch parties, a continuation from what we did heavily throughout the Mets postseason last year. So thank you guys kindly for that. I'm really excited for it. Will this app be available on Roku, Google TV? That's a good question, Abe, that I don't have an answer to right now. But if you do a quick search, I'm sure you could find that. But good question. I could definitely relay back for you in the next day or so. But that's all I want to relay on the Playback front, everybody. Make sure to check me out there. Our first show may be as soon as tomorrow. That's further why I'm explaining this. Not that you can't chime in on YouTube, because you can, but one, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between two different chats, and two, I'm trying to incentivize you guys to come to Playback because obviously they want me there for a reason. They want me to bring fellow Mets fans to be a part of it and for us to watch the game live together in that organic fashion versus just on YouTube. But let me get back to our side. I sincerely apologize. It is in the start of the season without Wardy having the typical hiccup where when I go back to my main slide, my main scene, of course, I still have my intro running. So if you don't get a jump scare, it isn't the start of Mets baseball now, is it? But we got Ansel, who's everyone's least favorite Braves fan, chiming in the chat as always, baby. Happy to have you in here. And trust me, for my Braves followers, my Yanks followers, my Phils followers, my rival fan followers especially, if you guys like me for one reason or another, whether you love or hate me, you guys can check out more of my work there at WardyMLB, where you guys will get my MLB-wide takes and videos I'll drop every single week. At least the goal is to drop 2 to 3 a week as of now and go from there. First video dropped yesterday, almost had 1,000 views already, which is really cool. Thank you guys for that. Now, as you guys see beside me, left, right, let's get into these New York Metropolitan 2025 opening day lineups. But first, let's start actually with the Houston Astros and then talk about our Metsies. For Houston, batting leadoff is everyone's favorite left fielder, said nobody, a man who I'm really curious to see how he's going to fare in left field. Will it be a continuation of what was not working too hot there in spring training, or will the Short King himself and Jose Altuve prove everybody and his doubters wrong? We'll see. Altuve batting leadoff for Houston, batting second, recently acquired in that monstrous trade for Kyle Tucker. And that's Isaac Paredes, the former Tampa Bay Ray, former Chicago Cub, now Houston Astro, commands a hot corner. Batting third is one of the most lethal bats in all Major League Baseball, right towards the tippity top of the list with guys like Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani when looking at the best bats in the game, and especially batting from the left side, i.e. we have entered now Yordan Alvarez batting third. Batting fourth is a really nice pickup for the Astros, some stability at first base after not having that the past 2 to 3 seasons, at least between Jose Abreu falling off a cliff, not surprising really, and then what they were dabbling with Singleton, among others, this past year, or Singletary, however you pronounce his last name. I could be butchering it. Either way, Christian Walker, a Diamondback, now a Houston Astro for the next 3 seasons. Batting fifth is the catcher in Yainer Diaz. Batting sixth is Jeremy Pena. Batting 7th is the best story on the Astros and a guy that I expect to torch the Mets to a degree this series. I just hope the Mets win every single game at the same time. And that's Cam Smith. Cam Smith, what a story. This kid was a part of that huge Kyle Tucker trade. And on top of it all, Smith has been an absolute dog. He tore the cover off the ball spring, was amazing that we saw in the minors this past year, and he is locked and loaded and ready to go. I'm honestly excited to see how Cam Smith plays because he looks like he's going to be the real deal for the Astros. He might just be like a perfect heir apparent to Kyle Tucker and the way that Juan Soto was the perfect heir apparent for Bryce Harper. And I think in similarity to how the Nationals were thinking then is what the Astros are hoping to see now in Cam Smith. Batting 8th is former Colorado Rocky, now turned Houston Astro, just cracked the roster, and Brendan Rodgers. And batting 9th is the oh-so-defensive Jake Myers. At starting pitcher, we have the veteran southpaw, a man with a lot of playoff pedigree, a man with a lot of championship accolades, a man with no-nos on the resume. He's done it all and will continue to do it all. We have Mr. Framir Valdez. Now, folks, let's get on to the Mets lineup, and I will get to your donation here shortly, Cameron. Thank you kindly for that. For our New York Metropolitans, your starting lineup is as follows. Batting leadoff is Mr. Smile himself, our unsung captain, Francisco Lindor. Batting second is the one and only, the $765 million man, if not $805 million man in total contract value. The man who tore the cover off the ball as a 19-year-old in Minute Maid Park against these Astros to win it all. I present to you Juan effing Soto. Batting third is going to be the polar bear that's hoping to have things spice up a bit after what was a tremendous playoff run, and that is Pete Alonso. Batting fourth, a man that will be platooning with the other guy at fifth based on left-handed and right-handed matchups all year long. Swaggy V, Daddy V, pause, we're talking about Marky V and Mark Vientos. Batting fifth is going to be Mr. Hemo himself, pointing up to the sky to thank God himself every time he bolts down that first baseline, and we have Brandon Nimmo, the most humble man in baseball. Batting sixth is star-studded Starly Marte. We know the bat's there. We know he can hit 280 in his sleep, but how much mobility will we get from Starling? That is what we were going to hopefully find out soon. Tyrone Taylor, batting seventh. TT, as my girl loves to call him, a nice balanced player that doesn't give you too much, but gives you just enough of what you need and should provide plenty of stability there, along with Jose Siri at center, at least for the first half of the season. And batting ninth, a man who stepped up for the Mets after being acquired mid-season because of Francisco Alvarez going down with injury. I present to you once more, because of Alvy's injury, Luis Torrens. And at pitcher, starting a game for the first time since what feels like 2018 back with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and making his opening day start for the first time ever on his birthday, mind you, we have the towering right-hander in Clay Holmes. That is the Mets lineup. That is the Astros lineup. And folks, I would love to hear who you are most excited about, but from both the Mets standpoint, and who maybe you're most concerned about from the Astros lineup. Now, most concerned for me, naturally, it's Yordan Alvarez. I mean, that feels like it goes without saying. But if it ain't going to be Yordan, I'm so locked in on this kid, Cam Smith, guys. Yes, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid from spring training a bit because the Mets played the Astros like a billion times. But still, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Cam Smith. I think this is going to be electric. Guys, did I not say Acuna? I sincerely apologize. You know what? I looked at Taylor and completely skipped over Luis Angel. Maybe it's because all I've talked about is Acuna the past, what feels like 2 weeks, if it's not Brett Beatty. So let's go back for a second. Batting seventh for the New York Mets is Tyrone Taylor, as my girl loves to call him, TT. Tyrone provides stability and just enough what you need there at the center field position, as he'll be platooning plenty that we see with Jose Siri throughout the first half of the season. I was almost word for word with that, right, guys? I think that was pretty good. We're saying the same thing on Tyrone Taylor again. Now batting eighth for the New York Mets, making his first Mets opening day debut, a man who blossomed thanks to Francisco Lindor's back injury and stepping up when this team needed it most in a key playoff hunt down the stretch. We have Ronnie's brother and Luis Angel Acuna. Batting ninth is Luis Torrens, and you guys already know the story on Torrens, so that's about it, folks. Let's get into this one. Look at this offense. How do you not get amped up about this? I mean, come on. Come on. Look at that 1 through 6. That's nasty. That's nasty. That's nasty. The fact that Starling Marte is the worst batter in that 1 through 6 is amazing. Amazing. Because if we just focus on Marte as a batter, There's really isn't too much to complain about. Yes, we know, knock on wood, he can obviously be a ground ball merchant. We know that. But Marte is a guy that usually puts the ball in play quite a bit and has a great time doing so. So I'm excited, to say the least. I really am. Let's see. FD has Soto to hit a home run at 520. I would 100% take that bet. I actually might take that bet after I'm done being live here. That's such a good bet, actually. Juan Soto to get a home run at plus 500 right now? Yeah, that feels almost like... It's not free money. I'm not going to say that because for all I know, Soto has an 0 for 4, 0 for 5 night. But it's Juan Soto. Do we really think that's going to happen? I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think that's going to happen? You guys let me know. You know, on the case of the Astros, obviously, Jordan is the towering man that I'm most concerned by. Isaac Paredes has had a good amount of success in limited sample sizes against the Mets, specifically during his time with the Tampa Bay Rays. I remember him at Citi Field a couple years ago, torching up in some games I attended. My comment is above. I would appreciate if you read it. Cameron, I absolutely will, and I thank you for reminding me because I did say I was going to I did tell you I was going to go back to it. Cameron with a $5 donation. Thank you kindly for that, Cameron. Happy opening day to you and your family. Salute to you, Paula. Happy to have you in here, too. Everyone is doing World Series predictions, so I'll do one as well. Dodgers over Rangers. I think that's a very good World Series prediction. I love the Texas Rangers this year. They have become an increasingly obvious fit out of the American League, it feels like, given the injuries to the Yankees or teams like the Red Sox and others stand. I love Boston this year. I really do. But the Rangers have all the makings of being that true bounce-back team. The way that the Atlanta Braves are going to bounce back big time this year, too, that, you know, I was just actually debating with Giraffe Neck Mark in our group chat earlier today because I was like, you know, you must be smoking that loud stuff if you're really going to have the Atlanta Braves at third, and which he did that in his season predictions, which I can't even fathom. Imagine the Atlanta Braves finishing third this year. If the Atlanta Braves somehow, some way finish third, I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank. Literally all the way to the bank. Because I'll probably make a video on how hilarious it is that the Braves flopped this year, the same way that I did a couple years ago in 2023. Because even though the Mets here got cooked, the Braves got cooked as soon as he entered postseason. So I think I just ragged on them hard for it. And it obviously does great viewership because you have the contingent of Mets fans that are on my side. You have the contingent of fans that think I'm being obnoxious. Then you have all the Braves fans that are like, F this guy, you know? So it's a fun conversation. So we'll see what happens. I'm not expecting the Braves to finish third, but I do find it hilarious that there are some takes out there like that. The same way, I find it hilarious, too, just staying on the topic of the NL East for a second, how some people think the Phillies are running away with this shit. I get it, their window's closing. I get it, they added Jesus Luzardo, so their rotation will carry them this year 1,000%. But, buddy, that offense is Jekyll and Hyde. They were a 500 ball club for 100 games last year. We saw what they were in the postseason. Nothing to lose sleep over. Immaculate rotation, but nothing to lose sleep over. We're the better team. I have full confidence in that. If the Mets don't go past the Phillies this year in one way or the other, it's because something goes horribly wrong for us and things go every which way right for them and click perfectly. And we'll see. It's going to be a fun year, to say the least. I can't wait for it. Where do I get the custom jerseys? I go to eBay. There's private sellers on eBay or public, however you call them. I don't know the guy's name off the top of my head, but if you just look up like Juan Soto authentic majestic Mets jersey, exactly what I just typed word for word there, I promise you, you will find it in eBay. Not bad. It was like 140, 150 bucks, which obviously is a lot of money, but for what the jersey is and for what the market usually is for a quality jersey like that, not so bad. It is Nemo's. It's 3 B-days today, actually. It's Nemo's birthday, it's Clay Holmes' birthday, and it's the Dark Knight and Matt Harvey's birthday, too. So we got some Mets alums as well as current Mets, in which they're all having their birthday right now. It's 560, 550. So yeah, that's a fun bet to do. If you guys, whatever sports book you guys want to use, and I'm not going to plug anything specific right now, even though you guys know exactly who I'd be plugging most at the moment. Whatever you guys decide to do on the betting front, I would definitely say that a Soto anytime home run hitter, would be a good thing to do for today or tomorrow. I'm not telling you to do it. Again, this is not something that I'm demanding, nor am I an expert, so don't take my betting advice as anything beyond a grain of salt. I'm quite literally just a biased fan that thinks it makes sense that wants Soto will hit a home run today. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you guys be the judge. Check in from AZ. How you doing, my man? LFGM got so excited for the season. I got Mark going yard today and Juan having 2 hits. I like that. I like that, especially Vientos against the lefty. I could definitely see that happening. And now that you said it, I kind of want to steal that thought from you, but I won't. I'll stick to my word. I initially said I think Soto hits the first home run for the Mets. If it isn't Soto, I'm going with Marte. We're going to lose against Fredmere. I don't think it's about hate, Jocelyn, as it is you don't know. We don't know. No one knows how this game is going to go today. All we can do is react as fans. Valdez is a dog, but I look at that Astros lineup. I look at Clay Holmes, who faced that Astros lineup multiple times this spring, and I say to myself, I could see Clay having a good day. I could also see Clay going out even on his birthday and walking 4 guys and not going beyond 5 innings and allowing 3 earned runs. That's a possibility too. And it won't be great, but it won't be the worst thing either, especially for his first true starter start in forever, since 2018 or so, as a Pittsburgh Pirate. So we'll see on the front of what happens between Holmes and Valdez, but it's going to be an exciting matchup, and Clay knows this Astros team well. Obviously, they have some newcomers, headlined by Christian Walker and Cam Smith and Isaac Paredes in the roster, but, he's had a lot of success over the years against the Astros. He's also had not success against the Astros, too, in some high-leverage situations, so it varies. It's going to be a really fun matchup. If Lindor has a first-pitch home run, I will be ecstatic. I'm not expecting that to happen, but man, would that be sick if it does? I mean, are you kidding me? Who wouldn't love to see a first pitch home run from our guy, Mr. Smile? That would be absolutely electric. Well, guys, I have a big question for you as I'm going to look on X right now just to make sure I didn't miss any key updates. I'm going to brief as well about news I'm going to further break down in both tonight's postgame and our Big Mets Updates segment, in which I may have the Big Mets Updates segment set up that I record live tonight, and then I may just cut it out of the live stream after the fact if I decide to, and I'm going to post it later on that next day. I'm not exactly sure yet, but we'll figure it out. It depends on the amount of topics of discussion. That all goes in hand with kind of how I want to pair the videos versus the live shows. But one thing I will say, especially on the... Oh, and I had a massive brain fart. I apologize. And I just saw the donation from Jack. So let me answer the donation from Jack, and then I'm going to ask you guys the question, which was my entire point here. Jack with a $5 donation says, "Hey, Wardy, happy opening day. I got the birthday boy Brennan Nimmo homers in the second inning. Lefty. Okay, I like that, baby. He does hit lefties well. That's very true. Do I think anyone is over the Astros scandal? I think anyone with a brain should be over the scandal. This isn't 2017 anymore, and the Astros won the World Series fairly comfortably in 2022 against the Phillies without the cheating scandal. That right there puts the nail in the coffin on the scandal. This isn't the core group that was leading the way in the scandal. Jose Altuve was actually one of the most outspoken against that entire situation as it was actively happening. Controversy ensued with him and all doesn't change the fact that of the alums that were a part of that group, it was pretty much just Altuve. Jordan wasn't there from the absolute start, but I know he was part of it to a degree, I'm sure. But Altuve especially, he was the unsung leader of that clubhouse. And through everything I've seen and reported, he was one of the most outspoken against what they were doing. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're just let me reframe my words here. I think if you are stubborn on the Astros cheating scandal, that's fine if you don't want to put it to rest. But the notion that they are still what they used to be is absolutely silly, and you're just fooling yourself, and you're not paying attention to today's baseball. 2017 is not 2015. You see how big of 2025, rather. Jeez, you see how big of a gap that is? A lot's happened since then. I think we understand that. And so I look forward to the same thing after having the putrid year you had last year, my man. I don't know. You clearly didn't watch last year because no Mets fan got their hopes up on the year whatsoever. Literally, last year exceeded expectations for the Mets by all accounts. It exceeded their preseason expectations, and it exceeded their in-season expectations. There is not a single thing that any fan out there, no matter what fandom that you're a part of, that you could say to talk down on how us Mets fans feel about how 2024 started, ended, and everything in between. Literally, it was the best roller coaster imaginable at such a high all summer long, and it went all the way deep into October that we saw. And no one's going to complain about that. No one's going to complain about losing to a Dodgers team that was so good that they didn't even need Freddie Freeman for a quarter, at least half their games against the Mets for the most part in the NLCS because of just how damn good they were. Like they were on another planet. Shea is locked and loaded, ready to go. Absolutely. Great question. Appreciate that. Yeah. First year with me and my son Shea. It's very exciting. Well, really pumped up because last year, this time, he was still in the tummy. So it wasn't the same thing. But now he's locked in. He's excited. And he'll actually be able to watch some of the game with me today, which is cool because it's 4 o'clock game. He usually goes to bed between 7 and 8. So thankfully, he'll be able to chime in, watch some of the game with me, and then hopefully I don't wake him up with me reacting too dramatically one way or the other to how the game concludes when I do my post-game segment. So that's that. Let's see. Saying here, what your daughter, Shay? That's awesome. I love to hear that. That's fantastic. Happy to have you guys in here. Dash says, surprised to see Taylor in center field instead of Siri. I'm okay with it, just surprised. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of giving a further, like, testament to Tyrone Taylor. You know, he was here last year. He deserves, I think, to get this opening day start. Siri, a former Houston Astro, will absolutely get a start in the series, whether it's 1 or 2. We'll find out as soon as starting tomorrow. I want to see Holmes go through 5 innings strong too, Dash, 1,000%. Let's see here. D-Max says, just need one fly ball to bounce off of Altuve's head. That feels like something that would happen if I'm playing left field. Because for context, I'm smack dab, like exact same height as Jose Altuve. Buddy is such a short cane. It's amazing. It's all the more impressive knowing how small of a strike zone he is, but how dominant of a hitter he's been and how much of a full true step he leaps into every time he hacks one for a home run. But to see him in left field trying to wall climb like he did in spring training, I try to wall climb and like even in my peak athleticism when I was on the fitness team for my high school for multiple years, you know, yoked up, doing everything possible, you know, just sprinting left and right and center, climbing up mats. Even I couldn't get all the way to the top of a wall climb of what Altuve is going to do. And yes, Altuve is a far superior athlete to me. That is also true. I realize it just sounded like your typical 40-year-old schmuck referencing high school as their best years of their life on, you know, oh, you know, I would have made it to the pros if I didn't have that shoulder injury. So I realize how ridiculous that statement probably just came across. But still, the thought of him wall climbing is hilarious. And then imagine if he wall climbs and he actually succeeds and he like snow cones a catch. He just robs someone and left. It's going to be electric. It's going to be electric. I actually hope I see it. I'm so happy baseball's back. I'm so happy. Let's see. We're just wondering, are you guys platooning Acuna and Beatty? Yes, that's what we're expecting to do. But for today, Acuna will be starting, and then Beatty may come in later in the game depending on matchups as we go on with this one. And Frankie, no, I did mention Acuna. I just didn't mention him at first. Let's see. Can't stand him. Hope he makes a fool of himself. There you go. I'm curious for the Altuve haters in here. What's the reason for the Altuve hate? Is it A, cheating scandal, and because he was associated, you just hate him for that? Is it B, the fact that he won MVP in a year that many believed Aaron Judge was supposed to, in the peak of the cheating scandal? I feel like it's only one or two of those things. I can't see why it would be anything else. I did also want to say, because I did have a question for you guys. My question is as follows. What is your Mets series prediction, everybody? Do you think the Mets win this series or lose this series? And by how many games? Are they going to win by sweeping? They're going to win 2-1? Are they going to get swept this series? Hopefully not. Or are they going to lose this series 2-1? I would love to see your predictions in the comments. King Fuego, love you, my man. Let's start this chapter. Absolutely, baby. Happy to have you in here, King Fuego, you beast. Thank you kindly. Really does mean a lot. For those that don't know King Fuego, he's been a dog, a long-time follower here on the platform, and we appreciate him greatly for that. Hope you're doing fantastic, my man. God bless to you and yours. Let me go on the timeline real quick on X to see if I missed anything coming out from earlier. We did find out the news that, yes, as expected, Alexander Canario and Jose Alzgar have been DFA'd, and I'll be relaying that more in our content later today because I'm going to talk about the likelihood, unlikelihood of those guys, you know, being traded, cleared the waivers and stuff. Obviously, it's not looking great for the Mets to keep Canario right now. It sucks, but this was a foregone conclusion after what was happening yesterday with Acuna making the roster and the Mets not having another utility option. I think the worst part is kind of knowing that if Jeff McNeil wasn't injured, there was a slight possibility greater that Canario would crack this team. Slight. More so because that while McNeil can play the outfield, he is more of a true infield fit. And for the Mets, that at least would validate a little bit more in having a guy like Canario on the bench. Whereas if they didn't, then again, I understand they have an abundance of outfielders regardless, but not having Acuna up and then maybe the status of Beatty would go in hand with things a bit. All I'm saying is Canario, they brought him in for a reason. Maybe they were trying to swing that trade and just didn't happen for Marte, and now they have to go backsies on it essentially. But he's a guy that I really do hope stays in the organization because he was fantastic. Update on Frankie Montas is that everything is just going as expected right now with him and, his rehab process. There's been nothing new on that. The part Altuve lied saying his wife didn't want his jersey off. So I understand that debate for sure. Here's the thing, though. I never found any conclusive evidence that he had a buzzer on him the way that, John Boy and others suggested. I actually saw through greater breakdowns of people with more knowledge on the situation and more tapped in that he didn't have a buzzer on him, and that regardless of what that situation was, that Altuve was, again, the most outspoken in that locker room when it came to the trash cans. That's from all the information that's been relayed out there, though, in my opinion on it. So I don't know exactly to a T what happened. I wasn't there. I wish I was a fly on the wall. Would have been nice to kind of spill the beans before we saw Fires do it once he got there to the Oakland A's, but I digress. D-Mac, hopefully Framber Valdez struggles to find the strike zone. Any idea how he looked in spring? I don't know how he looked in spring, if I'm being honest with you, but that's literally just a quick Google search to find out. So let's do that. Valdez is a free agent at the end of this year too, I'm pretty sure, which is exciting. I know that he's already in his 30s, but he could be a good piece for a team. Okay, Valdez had a fine spring, a 3.45 ERA, 5.2 innings, 16 strikeouts, a 1.4 WHIP. Probably walked a couple more guys than he wanted to. Let's see here. Let's see, Valdez spring training. Oh yeah, I love when I'm right. Look at that. Oh shit. Yeah, Valdez walked everyone and their mother in spring training. He had 10 walks. 10 walks in 15 innings. Oh yeah. Yeah, not great. That's it. But again, it's spring training. Some guys are literally going to have their slow rolls, especially a guy like him and Valdez, who you expect to lock in, especially as you get into the second half of the year, because he knows exactly what it's like to go through the entire experience of what it's like to be a starter into a postseason run and hopefully getting all the way to the dance. I don't wish that for the Astros this year, but I'm just saying that more so in the sense of like, he's been there, he's done that. This isn't foreign to him. All right, guys. What's good, Servo? Happy to have you in here. Acuna is playing for keeps. That's a plus. Do I think the two kids clear waivers? No, I don't. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't be shocked. Don't be surprised if the Mets trade Alexander Canario sometime over the next couple days. They have a 5-day window through the DFA period to try to trade Canario, the same way that the Cubs had to trade him to the Mets so they could get something for him. If the Mets don't trade Canario or Azocar, it's pretty solid possibility that at least one of them gets picked up. Now, we could benefit by the fact that teams just did all their roster cuts. Just did them. So a lot of teams don't have roster room right now. But Canario also looks like he's too talented of a player for an organization that's lacking outfield depth to not give an opportunity to. And what sucks is a team like the Yankees does make a lot of sense for Canario. A bit more sense than I want it to be, if I'm being honest. Am I upset with not having Sevy? I'm not upset about it. No, I really enjoyed Sevy's time with the Mets last year, and I wish him nothing but the best with the Sacramento A's this season. But he was going for his bag, understandably so. Mets weren't going to go there. In hindsight, would I have liked Severino over Montas, knowing Montas is not returning until like June or so? Yeah, I think that's fair. But outside of that, I don't really have much concerns with losing Severino. It's more so the reality of just the Mets typically getting hit hard with rotation injuries to begin the year, because why wouldn't they? Why isn't Beatty starting? Easy answer. It's because it's Framber Valdez pitching. The Mets are going to platoon Acuna and Beatty up until McNeil's back, most likely, in direct hand with pitching matchups. So knowing Valdez is lefty, a dominant lefty, one right at that. Now that Beatty can't hit lefties, but the Mets feel more confident in Acuna maximizing this opportunity when having a sliver of things going more in his favor, like pitching matchup, for example. Got your soda jersey? That's awesome. But you can never know. Somebody could accidentally sneeze and pull a muscle. In regards to what, Al? Well, hold on. Let's see. No doubt Astros on paper are worse losing Kyle Tucker, but they had a test last season with him out on injury. They were surging throughout that. Oh, no. The Astros are going to make playoffs this year. They're going to be a good team, but they're, to your point, they aren't as good, especially on paper. But I think there's a lot of upside with Cam Smith. I can't say that enough. I like Gainer Diaz at catcher quite a bit for them. He's young. He has a lot of upside to Jeremy Pena. I'm looking to see more from this year. For sure, Yordan Alvarez, more of the same. Altuve just needs to stay healthy, especially at this point in his career. And Isaac Paredes, thriving in Minute Maid Park. Can he give them a 30-plus home run season? I definitely think that's in the cards for him. Can he replace Alex Bregman's offensive production? Because we know that he's not going to be able to replace Bregman defensively as well. But if he can at least replace that offensive output, then that should bode them well. Sometimes I think Stearns is too smart for his own good. He chose Frankie over Walker Buehler. That's not true, Joe. The Mets pitched to Walker Buehler. It actually got linked through Reddit, their pitch to him. Because what the Mets would do when they would pitch stuff to players is they would send even this little kind of box, like a thing that you would get as like a season ticket holder, and it opens and it plays a little video. And in this thing, it was open. It was showing like Walker Buehler in a Mets uniform and presenting a little pitch on like Buehler coming to the Mets type. The Mets tried to get Buehler this past offseason, but he didn't want to come here. Not only did he not want to come here, but the Mets didn't want to go beyond like the 1-year contract that he got from Boston. And he already had ties to Boston as is. There's already some pre-existing belief that he wanted to go to the American League if he was going to be leaving the Dodgers. So nothing is ever as clear-cut usually as, oh, you signed Frankie Montas because you didn't go after this guy or you didn't like him. It's usually not the case like that. There's so much stuff that happens in these negotiations. The Mets also swing and miss on trades and signings every single year that you never heard of, that you'd be like, oh my God, are you kidding me? For either great or terrible reasons. It happens all the time. That's normal for front offices. And then what can be leaked out is leaked out. Let's go Mets. Absolutely, Matt Cass. Thank you so much for the donation, brother. Shout out to my guy, Ray. He does a great job over there. Appreciate him. Really, really good, really cool guy. I had the chance to meet him at Amazing Day. And he's been having a lot of fun in the sports space, not only for Mets, but also Jets content as well. And if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, we finally got someone in the space not named Evan Roberts that actually is a Nets talking head too. So very cool. Let's see. Let's go up on the list here, everybody. Let's see. Am I going to Mark and James's watch party on Saturday? I live 5 minutes away from where they're going to be at. I'm hype. I am not, sadly, but I hope you have a fantastic time, Andres. I'm probably going to be back here home covering it, especially because I don't reside in New York. So, I didn't even know that the watch party was happening until now. So now I'm going to look it up after the fact and see where they're hosting it. I love the fact that they're doing that. Watch parties are something that you guys are going to have a lot of fun with here on the platform, too. Not only are we going to be doing them live, watching the game together, like I just said, through our friends at Playback, but we're also in the current early goings of setting up events at Citi Field itself, which is very exciting. Have a big meeting tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to, and hopefully that goes positive. And as long as it does, as long as there's no setbacks there, then I will have information for you guys to relay, hopefully, as soon as next week. So I will have more info on that, but love Mark and James. There are a lot of great people in the Mets community, especially talking head-wise, but when we look at podcasters specifically, more podcasters versus kind of like what I do on a daily basis, Mark and James, I can't speak more highly of, not only because of the type of breakdowns that they do. I love their takes as Mets fans. Again, I looked up to Mark. Mark was a huge help with me getting my platform started, and is still to this day. James, I can't say enough great things about. He's a tremendous tremendous pitching mind, especially for fantasy baseball fans. But what I love so much about them is that they're bros. Like, they're guys that whenever I'm in town, I go and I hit the town with them. We'll do a bar crawl. We'll have a lot of fun. So they are as advertised when they portray themselves as being those typical bar buddies that just want to go out and have a great time watching some Mets baseball. That's exactly what they are. Love them. Let's see here. Mitchell, thank you kindly for that. I appreciate that. Wardy, according to my last comment, do you feel the same way? Jason, let me go up. Hold on, Jason. I don't know if God hears these kind of prayers, but I want so much to pray to Alexander Canario. Makes it through waivers. I 100% agree. 100%. Are we the Mets going to have a new swipe for the 2025 season? What do you mean by swipe, my friend? Stearns is. I'm very happy with David Stearns. I got no complaints there. Nada. Who's a Nets fan? That's funny. Thoughts on DK? Oh, I love my Steelers. Love them crash outs. If we don't have a receiver that needs to be put in a straitjacket by week 4, you ain't a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, baby. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan for those that don't know. Yes, I know it seems odd. Simple reasoning. My dad's from Corona, Queens. Growing up in the 70s, Jets and Giants were dog shit. Let's be frank here. Cowboys and Steelers reigned supreme. He told himself, I can't root for the Cowboys because there's just too many reasons to root against them, especially it's just sacrilegious usually for New York fans to root for anything Dallas, which is why I will heavily critique anyone I know that is your typical Cowboys fan, Lakers fan, and then, Giants or Patriots fan. Like, that's not how it works. I know people have their reasoning sometimes, so that's fair, but you guys know who I'm talking about who jump on the bandwagon. My dad jumped on the Steelers bandwagon because he's like, they aren't really a problem for the Jets or the Giants. There's really no rivalry there, especially at that time. And they were on the rise. The steel curtain that we saw in Pittsburgh in the 70s, Steelers won at least 4 Super Bowls throughout that decade. And, the rest is history. So that really paved the way for my football fandom. Same way mom's a Mets fan and I'm a Steelers fan through my dad. Yep, there you go. Exactly. Got my tickets opening day. That is awesome. That is fantastic. Guys, speaking of tickets on opening day, you're in luck. You're in fantastic luck. Do you guys want a deal on your tickets? I know you want a deal on your tickets. And you guys are going to get a discount from Wardy. Here's how. So easy. So easy. Guys, I don't know if you've seen this. We've announced on the community tab, and they've been featured in some of our content. Shout out to them. Our awesome friends here at SeatGeek, everybody, for those that don't know, is an official sponsor on the platform. So if you guys head over to SeatGeek and use that link that I have on my X account at the WardyNYM, I will also have this linked down below in the description after this is live here. I will have Playback and SeatGeek both linked down below in the description if it isn't already. I will also make sure that the memberships are linked down, or Wardy MLB will be linked down below as well. You can check out all that respective stuff. But you guys can get 10% off your order, up to $20 on any Mets tickets you want, any types of tickets. And it doesn't have to be, again, your first order, just your next order in general. Next time that you go out, use my special code there. That's going to be SeatGeek.onelink.me/R, capital R, lowercase n, capital K, / all capital, Wardy10, or just click that link there, or I will have it available shortly for you guys here in the description of this. Easy way to save money on your tickets, helps out the platform immensely because we're really just trying to get SeatGeek as an all year. I'm going to be transparent with you guys. We want to get SeatGeek as an all year round sponsor here on the platform, and all you guys have to do to help make that happen, because I want nothing more than for the official sponsors of WardyNYM to be things that are more centered in relation to the Mets and to the game that we love. And SeatGeek is this perfect balance of that, because I've been using them years as is for my Mets tickets, for my event tickets, for comedy shows, concerts, you name it, everything. My Knicks tickets too. I always go through SeatGeek. I love how easy they are to use. So when they reached out, I was pumped up. So we're working with them right now. But in order for that to continue long term, just need you guys to click that link. And thank you kindly for doing exactly that. Where are the links? Like I said, it's on the official. You know what? Maybe I can put it in the chat here. Hold on. All right, guys, I just put it in the live chat. Let me know if you see it. Help us get to 200 likes, everybody. That'd be greatly appreciated, or over 400 viewers. We're going to be wrapping up the show here in just the next couple minutes, but before I do, I'd greatly appreciate that. And yes, guys, the SeatGeek code is now live in the chat. The link, all you have to do is click on that, and it should automatically give you that 10% off, directing you right to the app. But if you don't have the app, download it. It's that easy. And again, 10% off your next ticket purchase of anything Mets, whatever event you want to do. Again, snap of the finger. That quick, that easy. Thank you guys kindly for it. And Kevin, I'll be transparent too by saying that those things aren't completely going away. But yes, we are not going to be doing exactly that kind of promotion anymore. That also goes in direct hand because of things that are changing on YouTube's platform in general. That's more than fine. So yes, the promotion going forward with those kind of things will not be the same as it previously was. So for people that especially are disinterested in that specific type of sponsorship, don't worry. There's going to be less of that than there has been in the past. Oh, it was very cool. It was very, very cool being in the Mets Pursuit doc yesterday. In case any of you guys didn't see it, let me show you real quick. Shout out to my amazing editor, Jacob. Look how hard this opening day graphic is, by the way. Best in the biz. Crazy thing about, too, with Jacob, mind you, we didn't know this at all because I reside in Pennsylvania. Buddy lives, like, again, 15 minutes from me. Like, 15, 20 minutes from me, which I think is hilarious. I know exactly, like, where, like, he grew up and everything, like, the schools he went to, because he went to a rival school of mine growing up, which I'm just like, what? That's bizarre. But Jacob's a beast. I appreciate him. Let's see here. This was from yesterday. Here's the Wardy MLB account, by the way, too. Just look up Wardy MLB on YouTube. That's our official logo. The only difference is that it's just red and blue versus orange and blue. Pretty much the same thing. And our first video, which is on Is Losing Your Favorite MLB Ace Inevitable? All in hand with the drastic injury uptick over the past number of years to starting pitchers, especially aces, that we broke down and really got into all the details on that. Just trying to show you guys here briefly what was sent to me by my buddy here, that being in, why am I blanking right? Look at Mark Vientos. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. From Jordan Simpson, our awesome friend of the platform. Yeah, I was on MLB Network last night, guys. Wasn't that cool? Again, same way that I didn't know if I was going to be in this Mets doc at all. Like, I didn't reach out to the Mets at all. I was tagged in it after the fact that I was in Pursuit Part 2. And then we come to find out that Pursuit 1 and 2 was live on MLB Network yesterday at 10 p.m. And look at this schmuck on a national broadcast. Hundreds of thousands of people watching me last night just to see me rattle off about how Steve Cohen, it starts with him. Starts with him as a top dog, how he's a personable owner. I appreciate those 2 seconds from the Mets. I'm not even joking when I say that. It really did mean a lot. Thank you guys once more to the entire Mets organization and to whoever specifically made that documentary. It was a fantastic one. And you guys can check out the pursuit on the build-up to the Juan Soto signing, hearing the thoughts of David Stearns, active players, Steve Cohen, and so many others in parts 1 and 2 on the Mets official YouTube channel that you can check out right now for those breakdowns. Fantastic stuff. But that was really, really cool. Let's see here. It wasn't Parkland. It wasn't Parkland, but wow. Wow, Jerry. You're getting too close, Jerry. Parkland was my immediate rival high school, which leads me to the question. What do you know, Jerry? What do you know? Where have you been sniffing? That's funny. But that, again, if you know in generalities where I'm from, then it shouldn't come as a shock to hear that. Awardee future Mets announcer. I don't know about future Mets announcer, but I'll be more than happy as long as I'm doing this as a full-time thing as a talking head. You got to became me on got a doctor's appointment on April 4th, aka open. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. I'm sorry to hear that, my man. I'd push if I were you, but if it's an important doctor's appointment, you also can't push it at the same time. So that's fair. I get it. But guys and gals, I am going to get out of here just in a second. But before I do, I want to thank you guys all once more. Dave, I love you, my man. I'm sorry we're going to be wrapping up now. But I will be back live directly after the game today for our post-game coverage. And then we will, again, probably have a Mets updates video that either drops separately tonight, a little after that I cut out of the live show that I did, or it'll be posted early tomorrow morning for you guys to kind of get a nice recap on the game from the day before, key takeaways, including stuff like Canario, among others. We're going to be pumping out content every day, all week long, all year long here on the platform. Uh-oh, Joseph. Joseph, you're nipping too much, Joseph. Uh-oh. They're fake. They're cracking the code. They're cracking the code. On that note, I'm going to leave it now, guys. Thank you guys again for the endless support. It really does mean a lot. You guys can check out our post-game work later where we'll have more fun talks about this on a personal end as well as other things. And yeah, Jerry, yep, you guys have absolutely nailed it. I'm from Hawaii, but bought a house out here and kids go to Parkland. Yeah, you're not far from me at all. Fun fact, my sister-in-law went to Parkland. So to give you guys context, yeah, we're right there. But guys, that'll do it. Thank you so much again for watching. As always, no matter